There are some things that can be dangerous if brought into a country, while there are others that seem totally harmless. Lady Gaga. Lady Gaga found herself banned from the country of China in June 2016 after she met with the Dalai Lama to discuss yoga, mental health, and other positive topics. The Dalai Lama has been living in exile out of China since 1959 because the government sees him as a threat to overthrow the country in order to run a theocratic government. However, Lady Gaga knew what she was doing with her meeting, and subsequently her music and any mention of the musician has been wiped out from the country like she never existed. She now joins the ranks of other banned musicians like Maroon 5, Bjork, and Oasis. Social media. In February of 2016, thousands of citizens in Uganda found themselves unable to access any of their social media accounts due to a new ban that was implemented by the country's government. Because social media is seen as being used to rally and sway people's votes, the government wanted to avoid riots and violence by restricting access to a venue where the people could interact and talk. This was all during the election of President Yoweri Museveni, who has been president of Uganda since January 1986, and recently won his 5th term. As of May 2016, Uganda's social media access is still blocked. Jasmine. It may seem odd to ban a flower, but after the Tunisian Jasmine Revolution that spoke out against President Zayn al-Abidine Ben Ali, the country of China panicked. Their own citizens started to get inspired from the Jasmine Revolution, and gatherings started in the country. To combat this, China banned the word jasmine from being used in communications in text and social media. Any poems or songs written about the flower were also banned, and then the flower itself was banned. This has had a huge impact on the flower and tea industries that use jasmine as their staple flower. Reincarnation. Not only are jasmine flowers banned in China, but also is reincarnation. Because of the officials of Communist China being atheists, there really isn't any sense in making a ban on spiritual rebirth, but it exists anyway. Unless you have government permission, you can't be reborn into your next life in China. The ban was created really to affect the Tibetan Buddhist population, and also to create a way for China to control the next Dalai Lama. Fortified foods. In 2004, due to growing concerns about food safety, the government of Denmark made the decision to ban all fortified foods in their country. This includes Ovaltine, Shreddies, and Horlicks. Technically, Marmite is also on this list, but there was a recent lift of the ban of the yeast bread, and now it's only illegal to advertise Marmite. Given the irony of banning foods that have extra vitamins and minerals, many citizens of Denmark have to depend on clever smuggling or hoping their favorite stores file paperwork for an exemption to the law and pray it passes. Sodomy. While it may seem impossible to regulate what people do in their bedrooms and private lives, 14 states in the United States of America have sodomy laws that ensure the act is banned. The law is an attack on the homosexual community, as well as the sexually more adventurous. As time has progressed, some states have lifted their ban, but states like Alabama, Florida, Idaho, Kansas, Louisiana, Michigan, Mississippi, Missouri, North Carolina, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Texas, Utah, and Virginia still have their sodomy laws, with no lift being seen in the future. Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is already a pretty controversial holiday as it is, since it promotes the idea that everyone should have a boyfriend, girlfriend, or spouse. If you're single, Valentine's Day is more of a bother than something to enjoy. But there are several countries like Pakistan, India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Iran, and Saudi Arabia that have banned Valentine's Day because they believe the holiday promotes immoral activities such as drinking alcohol and having casual sex. Emo clothes. This might seem like a strange thing to ban, but the Russian government believes they can reduce their teen suicide rate by banning emo clothing. In 2008, the Russian government enacted a legislation called Government Strategy in the Sphere of Spiritual and Ethical Education, which was created to outline the things that teens could and could not do, and it mentions that emo clothing and anything related to emo culture was a threat to national stability. Ironically, emo music was not a part of that ban. Furby. Furby was a hit toy among kids in the late 1990s and early 2000s. The little creature had big eyes, it could see you, and it could talk to you. But the United States government had their fears of possible espionage from the toy, especially since it mimicked the speech of its owner. So it banned Furby from the National Security Administration, the Pentagon, and the Norfolk Naval Shipyard. Furby is pretty much banned anywhere that sensitive information about national security and government secrets are discussed. Cars. It should be of no surprise that North Korea has banned a common practice that is all over the world. Unless you're a government officer, you are not allowed to drive a car. You can only take public transit, and if you are one of the rare and lucky ones to get access to a car to drive, you're not allowed to drive by yourself. You must take passengers with you. Also, there are lots of rules for drivers and being on the roads in general that are so overwhelming to the point that holding a license isn't worth the hassle. Well folks, thanks for watching this video. Before you run off to go do everything on this list, check out these other videos. And please, subscribe to The Richest for more awesome, bizarre things all the time. Thanks.